All right. Well, so much like was alluded to in the comments or some of the feedback, I guess, from the other students that have had this assignment, this is probably my least favorite delivery method of an assignment, but do the best I can. So my understanding of the electoral college, in essence, is that the president and vice president of the United States they're not chosen by a nationwide popular vote majority. They're chosen by 538 electors, and the process is spelled out in detail in the U.S. Constitution. There's a reason the founders didn't make it simple or create just this overwhelming majority, or the reason they created the Electoral College was to avoid a bare majority. There's no intention, at least as far as with how it was created, that there was for a pure democracy when it came to the election. And they knew from careful study that pure democracies more often than not do not work or are less than successful. They can implode. And the saying about two wolves voting about a lamb for dinner, bare majorities can be a ingredient for tyranny. So the founders wanted to avoid that. That's why we have the three branches: the executive, legislative, the judicial. Each state has two senators, so no matter what its population, but there's also different numbers of representatives based entirely on population for states. And for a supermajority, obviously, or you need 3/4 of the states. The Electoral College works in essence in two phases. The first phase is almost entirely or purely democratic. You have 51 popular elections every presidential election cycle, one in each state, and then an additional one in D.C. So let's say for 2012, if you think you're voting for just Barack Obama or just Mitt Romney, you're not. You're voting for a slate of presidential electors, and each state has a certain number. So if you vote Democrat or you voted Democrat, you would have voted for the state's X number of given electors, whether they be Democrat or Republican, what have you. And then the second part's in December, and it's the December election where the 538 electors, not the November election, which officially determines the identity of the next president, and you need at least 270 to win. And what that does is that it's why a national campaign is so important. You must have the support of all different kinds of voters from all over the country, and not just have one region determine the outcome decisively of an entire election. You have to concentrate on the whole country or a wide range of areas. Last election, you can see where one candidate may have focused too much on major cities that had predominantly Democratic influence, and it didn't work out quite so well. So anyways, then you have your swing states. Some states in recent decades were blue or red and have changed to the opposite color. Some states are marginal, can go either way. So how a candidate campaigns, how he or she focuses their campaign efforts, and where, to a large degree, has pervasive influence on what each state will do, even down to the county, obviously, that you see on election night. The different counties, they'll follow a map or election map by the county, down to the very county. That's why they do say every voter in every state is important. The Electoral College makes it harder to steal elections. You can't just strategize by saying we're going to take just these states. It's very hard to predict, very hard to steal an election because of the Electoral College, and that is why it's so important. Even when the outcome isn't what the prevailing majority wanted, or that doesn't mean it's a failure, that it doesn't work. That's actually proof that it does work, and that the founding fathers had a great idea in what they were hoping to avoid. So that's in essence, that's my understanding of it, and thank you for your time. Thank you for a very unusual assignment. I had to do a job interview like this one time, and it was less than pleasant. But anyhow, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something different, and God bless. Take care.